Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And we are back here on Katz and Cosby. Everybody talking about this revelation that the Biden FBI was spying on Kash Patel and Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles, the chief of staff to President Trump, Kash Patel, the FBI director, and that this was going on, I believe it was 2023, of course, when they were private citizens. This is stunning. So joining us now to talk about all of this is Tom Fitton. He is the president of Judicial Watch. My old friend Tom, what do you make of this?
It's the same old in many respects, isn't it? This is what they've been doing against Trump and his team for almost a decade now. And Kash and Susie have been put on what is really a long list of victims of illicit spying, political spying, it's clear, by the Biden operation and their agent, Jack Smith. You know, remember, there are hundreds of conservatives, party operatives, the entire Republican establishment, including the Speaker of the House at the time, McCarthy, were also targeted. But here they were monitoring the phone call or recording a phone call between Susie Wiles and her lawyer.
Yeah. How is that ethical? Tom, you hit it on the head. You and I have known each other for decades. I could not believe it that apparently they were monitoring a call, and there's some reports out there that the attorney agreed to it with the FBI, but that Susie Wiles herself did not know about it. How is that ethical?
Yeah, and that's worth a further exploration. You know, my concern is what's going to be done about it, right? This isn't like the first revelation of outrageous conduct by the prior FBI and Justice Department. What is going to be the reform? What is going to be the accountability? And releasing information is good, but it's not sufficient. They fired 10 more agents reportedly. You know how many people have been fired at the FBI since Trump has come in? 148.
Wow.
12,000 people work there. You know, that to me is not an indication that there's a serious sea change at the agency.
But Tom, does anybody go to jail?
That's the big if. Are they even doing the investigations necessary to create that situation where someone may go to jail or even be prosecuted? I'm not convinced that's even happening.
Ed Cox.
Frankly, if it were, we'd have some indication of it because the other side would be screaming about it.
You know, Ed Cox here, that it was technically Biden's FBI, but in the end, Obama was running this administration.
Oh, well, that's a fair point.
And it started, the Russia thing started in the Obama White House in the fading days of his last administration. And he just wanted he would do anything to stop Trump. And he was behind this. It was Obama, not Biden, who was really pushing this.
You know, and the big headline here is they were spying on his campaign. But what does Susie Wiles have to do with January 6th? What does she have to do with classified records at Mar-a-Lago, as has been alleged? This is like, we've got the opportunity to use the Justice Department to do a political intelligence gathering against the likely nominee of the Republican Party and the entire party itself. And that's what they did. And there's been, in my view, zero accountability for it yet. Now, the American people found President Trump innocent of all those charges effectively by voting him into office. But to me, there are a lot of guilty people on the other side who should be facing significant legal scrutiny.
Yeah, no doubt. Judge Weinberg.
Tom, good to talk to you again. To Ed Cox's point about the Obama administration, don't forget what the Obama administration did with respect to using IRS as a bludgeon and a suppressor of organizations, conservative organizations that were engaged in their activities. She shut them down, and she was never held accountable. And she gets up there in testimony before Congress. She gives a full explanation of her position, and then she takes the fifth, which, by the way, she's not allowed to do, and they let her get away with that.
And who helped him do that back in the day? Jack Smith. He was a senior DOJ official that wanted to work with Lois Lerner to target people based on
So to your point, Tom, this has been going on forever. Yeah. It started with the Obama administration. It was the abuse of governmental instrumentalities. The IRS is a very dangerous and deadly instrumentality used against a private citizen or advocacy groups. What do you think?
Yes, the IRS is a sword of Damocles held over the First Amendment rights of American citizens. It's been used time and time again for political purposes. And in that case, in my view, President Obama stole his election in plain sight by suppressing an entire political movement against him, the Tea Party, which the IRS was unleashed against, and shut him down just before the re-election cycle.
Ed Cox.
Yeah, look, the Biden administration was really a third Obama administration. Obama made him in South Carolina, working with Clyburn, and he pushed Bernie Sanders aside, which made and that's part of the reason that we've got this huge socialist movement, because the socialists are as mad as hell that they didn't have their shot in 2020.
You know what's interesting is Obama never left the Washington, D.C. after he lost he left office. He's the only president since Woodrow Wilson not to leave D.C. after leaving office. And Wilson didn't leave because he had a stroke. He was sick.
Yeah, he set up.
Why would he hang around D.C.? I mean, you got you got the nail on the head there. He was running. I have no doubt. Look, he was a senior. He was a quiet partner in the Biden White House. That's for sure.
And in fact, at one time, wasn't he quoted as saying that's exactly what his ambition was to be the guy behind the curtain pulling the strings and not being held accountable?
I see Hillary's getting questioned on Epstein. I want Obama questioned on all of this. I think Hillary should have been questioned on all of this. And I'm just tired of the weak approach to dealing with this crisis that they created, where they use these agencies to try to blow up our Republican form of government. And it wasn't like it happened 10 years ago. It happened in 2024.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't that long ago. Well, Tom Fitton, keep us posted. You guys are always digging in there and also trying to get the details with your FOIAs and everything else, the Freedom of Information Acts.
That's right.
Yeah, keep it up. Keep up the great work, Tom, and you're welcome anytime here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone,
Thank you, Tom.
Bye-bye.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially healthcare. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.